I'm a man of God, husband, I'm a father, I'm a brother. I feel like young people, they just need to know that the coolest thing to be is a man and woman of God. The Bible talks about we overcome by the word of our testimony. I'm from Florida, Deerfield Beach, Florida, in between Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, down south. I have 4 other siblings with a father in the home. Grew up with a mom that didn't play, but she was very fun. You know, we had a lot of fun. We spent a lot of time in church. So you kind of have that perspective where you do the church thing, and you know what to do not to get caught. When I got to college, it was like I'm free from home, nobody to tell me anything. I'm a grown man. I'm gonna do what I wanna do now. And I remember when I came to Atlanta, straight away from church. I didn't want to do church, and really one of the main reasons why I didn't want to do church is because I took to a certain type of music at that time, which was hip hop and R&B, and I felt like that music had no place in the church. So I had this big plan, you know what, go out here, sell a bunch of records, come back, give my money to the church, and then when I'm getting ready to, settle down, I come back and do some gospel CDs. I opened up a studio off campus, to make some extra money and just try to follow this dream. I started producing for drug dealers, pimps, thugs, just different people. But those words, after producing this music every day, those words start to infect your spirit. My rule was, man, I don't want to make any music that my mom can't listen to. That was my rule. And then it was, okay, well, all right, he said this, we'll let that go this time, because he paid his money. Then it was like, okay, the more money they came with, the more I was willing to compromise. Because I thought, okay, this guy here knows this producer, or this guy can get us in contact with this guy and send your demo into this guy. And you was chasing this dream. And just perversion getting more and more into your spirit. And going through that process, man, I learned a lot, made a lot of crazy decisions. Through that, it wasn't enough to get me to change my mind about what I was doing. One situation, our studio, somebody came in, they came in with automatic weapons, had all my guys laid down, you know what I'm saying? Because they were looking for someone who wasn't there. Well, I wasn't there, but it was a mistaken identity. They thought we were doing a session with somebody, one of their enemies. And a lot of countless situations where I could have lost my life. I had just become a person that I wasn't proud of. Then I finally just came to the fact of, after being paranoid, having my studio broken into, I remember we had an idea of the guys that broke into the studio, that stole the equipment. And I called all my guys, man, y'all need to meet me down to the studio right now. And they came. And at that point, with 4 or 5 guns in the room, I had guys that were willing to take other guys' lives. And I was like, this is just, man, I'm a church boy, man. Why in the world I'm getting ready to put a hit out on somebody? And I'm like, how did this happen? And I remember, in tears, I told the guys, go home, just go. I'll call you later. And I couldn't do it. And that's when I felt like it had gone too far. There was one time, my wife took me to this church called World Changers. And I started listening to the word. And, when I heard Pastor Creflo Dollar, when I came in, he was teaching on the righteousness of God. And he said some things that night that really changed my life. When you've done a lot of stuff that you're not proud of, you feel like, man, God don't want me. And when he started talking about it's not by your works, but you get in because of Jesus. If you accept Jesus, that's how you get in. Not necessarily by the good things that you do, because you can't work enough to get yourself into heaven. You got to accept Jesus. And it became so clear I don't want everybody to think you get saved and then the next day you're just on fire for God. You're laying hands on the sick and, you know, and I'm doing what I'm doing now. At that time, no, it was a slow grind. Just built my character over time and over years so that there's not just this guy that just comes out of nowhere and then it's whatever happened to Canton Jones. No, you know, this is something that God is building. We're building something together. Family, we're building a relationship. I'm building a relationship with God. I'm building a relationship with my wife. I'm building a relationship with my pastors, with other people that's really meant something to me over these years, more than my career, more than my music, you know, those relationships that I can always go back to and confide in those people.